Hey Candles, welcome to Candela Learnings. This is Akshay, your social science tutor. So Candles, do you know what is the specialty of 22nd April? On this date, we celebrate Earth Day. Do you know what is the purpose of this day? Why we are celebrating this day? Earth Day is celebrated to raise awareness and appreciation for the natural environment and the need to protect it. The first Earth Day was celebrated on April 22nd, 1970 and was organized by Senator Gaylord Nelson of Wisconsin in response to a growing concern about pollution and environmental degradation. Since then, Earth Day has become an annual event that brings people from around the world all together to promote environmental protection. So in today's session, we'll first discuss the remaining classification of industries, followed by various pollution caused by the industries, and at last, we'll talk about different conservation measures to prevent this negative outcome. Okay? So, in the last session, we discussed up to small scale and large scale industries, which means till on the basis of capital investment. So before we discuss on the basis of ownership, let's go through the automobile industry followed by the information technology and electronics industry. So first, automobile industry. The automobile industry refers to the business of designing, manufacturing, marketing, and finally selling of motor vehicles like cars, trucks, and buses. These businesses also manufacture their components and parts as well. And below, you can see I mentioned some place where this industry is located: Delhi, Mumbai, Pune, Chennai, and so on. Now, talking about information technology and electronics industry. By looking at the first point itself, I think you can make out what kind of industry is this. This business is involved in the creation, development, and manufacturing of hardware, software, and electronic devices. And Bangalore, the capital of Karnataka, is known as the electronic capital of India. Last, I mentioned some states which have important centers of electronic goods: Mumbai, Delhi, Hyderabad, and Pune. So now let's check what all things comes under on the basis of ownership. And under that, first one is the public sector. The public sector refers to organizations that are owned and operated by the government rather than the private individuals or businesses. Okay, so these kind of organizations, what they do is they provide essential services to the public such as healthcare, education, transportation, and law enforcement. Understood? So here you can see the examples of public sector: SAIL, which means Steel Authority of India Limited, and BHEL, which is Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited. So all this comes under public sector. Now we will move on to the private sector. See, if you know what is the public sector, then I think you can make out what is private sector. So here the private sector refers to the part of an economy that is controlled and managed by the individuals and private companies rather than by the government. The private sectors are profit motive, which means that businesses aim to make a profit by selling goods or services to customers at a price that is higher than the cost of producing them. Okay, and below you can see I mentioned some examples which fall under this category: TISCO, which is the Tata Iron and Steel Company, Reliance, and Mahindra. So these all are private sectors. Now let's talk about joint sector. See, if you know about public and private sector, this one is easy to understand. Listen here. Public sector means it is operated by the government, and private sector means it's operated by private individuals or businesses. So joint sector means it is operated by both of them. Here both parties contribute to the capital investment and take part in the management and the control of the business. Okay, so Mahanagar Gas Limited, this is a good example of joint sector. Okay, now cooperative sector. A cooperative sector is a type of organization where people work together to meet their common needs and goals. It's like a team where everyone works together for the benefit of all the members. For example, imagine a group of farmers who want to sell their crops. They can establish a cooperative in which they combine their resources, split the cost, and split the profits. By working together, they can negotiate better prices for their crops buy supplies at a lower cost and sell their products in bigger markets. So this is all about cooperative sector. Now let's discuss the classification on the basis of bulk and weight of raw material and finished goods. Under that we have heavy industries. When an industry is involved in the production of large and heavy products like machinery and construction materials, that industry can be called as heavy industry. Okay, here you can see the example iron and steel. Actually many more examples are there like mining, shipbuilding and so on. Okay, so next one is light industries. Heavy industry means the production of large heavy products. So what will be light industry? It involves the production of small, easy to manufacture products. And electrical industry is considered as a light industry. I think we are done with the classification of industry. Now we have to look into an important topic, industrial pollution. See, in this chapter, we are going to discuss about 4 different types of pollution. Okay, so first we'll discuss air pollution. So in my personal opinion, I think that this is the most dangerous pollution. See, we are breathing every second. If the air is contaminated with gases like sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide and dust particles from smoke, what happens is every time when we inhale, we are taking all those elements inside our body. And I think I don't need to explain what will happen next. Not just humans, but animals too will get affected. The major cause of air pollution comes from smoke, which is emitted from factories, refineries and smelting plants. See, the smoke is emitted from vehicles as well. This is the reason why the government is making us to take a pollution test for vehicles which run on fuel. Okay, now water pollution. Think by yourself. What all things can pollute the water? Don't think about big chemicals and all, just think about the things available at your house. Soap, detergents, plastics and much more, right? So these items itself is a great threat to water bodies and also the aqua life. So what happens if factory waste like acids, synthetic chemicals and fertilizers like also join along with them? It will further aggravate the problem, right? Now in India, fly ash, phosphogypsum, iron and steel slags are considered major solid wastes. Okay. Now thermal pollution. See, thermal pollution majorly affects water bodies. The factories and the thermal plants, what they do is they discharge hot water into water bodies before cooling it. Mostly these wastes are from nuclear power plants. Okay, and these discharges from the factories are so dangerous that they will cause cancer, birth defects and miscarriages. And other than these, the soil will also get affected. Do you know what happens if the soil gets affected? The rainwater seep into the soil carrying pollutants to the ground and the groundwater also gets contaminated. Okay. Now let's talk about noise pollution. See, compared to the other pollutions, noise pollution is not that much dangerous. The noise of machinery, drills, horns of vehicles, generators, what they do is they will cause an irritation and hearing impairment. Even it can increase our heart rate and blood pressure. Okay. Now I'll give you an activity to do. Here you can see some pictures. What you need to do is determine what pollution these things can generate. See here, one object can cause multiple pollution. So it's okay, you can write them both. Okay. Now let's see how to minimize pollution. So the first point is recycling and reuse of water. Recycling and reuse of water is an effective way to reduce pollution and conserve water resources. I think we already learned about this in the chapter water resources, right? So the second point is rainwater harvesting. Again, we discussed the full setup of rooftop harvesting in the third chapter. In this chapter, we don't have to discuss about it, but we have to understand why it is necessary. We know that by capturing and utilizing rainwater, we can reduce the demand for freshwater resources, right? The last point is treating hot water and effluents before releasing them into rivers and ponds. Listen carefully. Treating hot water is not a one-step process. It has 3 stages. Okay. The first phase is called primary treatment. So this treatment is a mechanical process which involves screening, grinding, flocculation and sedimentation. The second phase, which is secondary treatment, this involves a biological process. Now the last step, tertiary treatment, which involves biological, chemical as well as physical processes. Okay. Now, apart from these conservation measures that we discussed, we will see what NTPC has to show. NTPC means National Thermal Power Corporation Limited. So here, NTPC has been practicing some ways to reduce environmental issues. Let's see what are they. So the first point is adopting latest technologies. If technology advances, it reduces pollution. How? By providing more efficient and cleaner ways to produce energy, transport goods in a better way, and reducing waste and emission. Minimizing waste generation by maximizing ash utilization. The second point. See, ash is a byproduct of various industrial processes such as coal combustion and can contain harmful pollutants. So by maximizing ash utilization, we can reduce the amount of ash that is disposed of in landfills, and that will in turn reduce the risk of pollution. Okay. Now the third point, establishing green belts. To promote ecological balance, NTPC has built green belts around its power facilities. See, green belts involve creating areas of vegetation and greenery around the power plants, okay, which can help to absorb pollutants and improve air and water quality. Okay. Now the last point, ecological monitoring. See, this process, ecological monitoring, involves regular surveys of flora, fauna and ecosystem in and around NTPC's power plant and other facilities. They use various tools and techniques to monitor ecological health. By doing so, what are the benefits? One simple benefit, they help to identify the impacts of human activities on the environment, including changes in biodiversity, habitat quality, water quality and also air quality. Okay, so that's all for today's session. See you guys in the next session. Till then, take care.